I'd like to talk about how I am affected by a Parkinsonism-plus condition. This particular one is called Striatonigral Degeneration, and it affects a number of things. Among those, of course, are movements, shaking and tremors and difficulty walking and balance. And it has an effect on my urinary system, my bowel system. Digestion is slowed. Joint pain and stiffness. My eye movements, if I try to track something from right to left in front of my eyes, I can have difficulty with my eyes moving together and focusing together. But my main purpose for taping this is I kind of would like to give myself a baseline of how I speak today. I'm doing my best to speak clearly and carefully, but you'll notice that my speech is slowed, and I have a little difficulty with just getting my mouth to move in general enough because of the slow or bradykinesia factor that is part of the Parkinsonian aspect of multiple system atrophy -P, which is the newer terminology for striatonigral degeneration. Doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. I have slowed cognition and I have cognitive changes. Together, the difference would be, I guess, that my voice is softer. My mouth probably moves more slowly, more deliberately. I have to think more. So if I get a moment to say something in a group, because I start slower and my thoughts come together probably a little bit ahead of my mouth, and then I try to say it, I have to slow down enough to say it articulately, and I may not get the kind of vocalization I want in a quick enough pattern of speech that people will hear the whole statement. So if it includes a paragraph rather than just an answer or one sentence response, people are long gone and on to something else, and I haven't finished my idea. So that's frustrating, because I used to be a teacher and a leader, and I'm used to being articulate. Well, I may sound just as intelligent as anyone would expect from a human being, but that isn't really the point. The point is, how has this affected me? And do I speak the way I used to speak? Is my inflection of my voice lower or higher? Does it tend to be more of a monotonous, level kind of a sound? And that's not something I control. I just live with what I get. Probably the gravelly kind of hoarseness is what you hear, that you might notice. Now, without my glasses, you might be able to see what my eyes do. Now, I can't see very well without them, but I'm going to take them off because I'd like to be able to be observed in that way. I'm going to just talk now, tell you that in 2005 I first noticed that I had tremors starting, and my head was nodding and my hands would shake. I had a little bit of a balance problem developing, and I noticed that sometimes I would forget what I was trying to say. If I was in a meeting, I may forget in the middle of an important report, and I draw a blank. Now, this isn't unnatural for people, but I'm talking about a very much more serious level of doing this frequently, and I definitely was changing. And in those few months to come, I wondered what was wrong, but kind of kept going, kept working, kept doing all I could do. By that fall, I needed to go to the doctor and find out what was happening, which led to the investigation. I was found to have a Parkinsonism-plus condition. It's very difficult to diagnose one of those, and one could have assumed I had Parkinson's disease. I have a really good neurologist, and he didn't jump to conclusions. He waited long enough to get a good idea of what he was looking at. And after 6 years, he felt pretty confident that he could say Striatonigral Degeneration. And he has referred me to a neurosurgeon to be considered for deep brain stimulation. So that's where I am. I hope this is a good example. I am looking and hoping to be seen in the way my facial expression would be, and how I feel my eyes would be pointing. I'm not sure if my eyes are pointing together right now. I'm trying to keep them as straight as I can and look right into the camera. However, I wouldn't tend to blink them enough, so I'm blinking them to get them a little more moist. And that's the whole story. So I'm going to go ahead then and sign off. This is Dan Brooks in April 8th of 2012.